Well, it's been a little bit of a while since I thought to actually speak my mind, so let's just get straight to it. You may have seen in the news about far-right so-called riots that have been taking place since last Monday. They started in Southport, but they've been happening now in Manchester, Bolton, Rotherham, Hull, Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, Sunderland. I don't think Southend has had any riots, but they've also been happening in likes of Belfast, Blackburn. Practically, they've almost kicked off in almost every other major city in the UK. Surprisingly, the majority of Wales, I don't think, has had any riots as of yet. There's been nothing about, Abergavenny or Cardiff or Swansea or anywhere around those places that's ever been targeted, to my knowledge. However, apparently the far right, well, they sort of had they've had it in, well, what I said earlier about Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and Hartlepool being targeted, and there've been fights kicking off there. Well, it's the concerning thing is that apparently the rumor was that Newcastle, my home city, was going to be orchestrated for a riot this coming Saturday. And I'm just going to say this to any of those far-right bastards who happen to be watching this. Don't come anywhere near my city. But I'll get back to that in a second. Because yesterday, and to be honest, listen, these entire riots, I've been observing them and taking notes very, very closely about what's been going on. And to say that I am uniformly disgusted is certainly an understatement. I'm disgusted at the fact that, that kid Axel would murder 3 innocent girls in the first place. First of all, that's completely unforgivable. And we can't forget the fact that what he did was pure evil. And if he is not going to be put down for at least a whole life order, then I think something very, very wrong is going to be happening. There'll probably be even more riots. I wouldn't be surprised if they stormed whatever monster mansion he ends up being sent to, because, well, I think there'll be, well, then again, he'll be in jail, surrounded by people who probably want a piece of him either. You'll come to realize that even people in jail don't like child murderers very much. I don't really, because nobody likes them in any corner of society. They don't put up with that kind of stuff. But what I saw yesterday, well, 2 things I saw yesterday that actually, to be honest, completely turned the thing on its head again. The first is that for some reason Elon Musk has suddenly decided, through no provocation whatsoever, that apparently his opinion is somehow needed in regards to all this. But his opinion only goes so far as to heavily criticize the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, and to say that there's a civil war coming in this country. That's apparently Elon Musk's contribution to this. And I think we should start by pulling all funding from Twitter, and I think I have to consider very, very seriously if I'm ever going to be using Twitter again. Because anytime I use it now, I have to remind myself that I'm aligning, well, not so much aligning myself, but I'm condoning the fact somewhat. Because if I'm using, if I've got a problem, then why am I still using his platform if he's under the conception of drumming up almost unrest? He's not calling for people to stop, by the way. That's not what Elon Musk is doing. If anything, he seems to be stirring it even further. Then, of course, you've got Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage, who, just like Elon Musk, they're not particularly in the mood to tell people to stop what they're doing, because there's no direction to all of this, and their rioting and their protesting is boiled down to what is known as stochastic terrorism, which it is what it sounds like. It's a process in which people are misled to commit unruly violence as a result of misinformation and conflicting reports. Which, remember, this all started because, remember, people said that Axel was a Muslim, even though he was not. And people just believed this and went on the rampage. and are still doing it to this nearly 10 days later. And then, so I don't know what the hell Elon Musk has got to do with it. I don't know why he's getting involved for no reason. And then I saw something last night that almost made me like burst into tears, because there was a video about an Islamic family just sitting in their car at a petrol station in Manchester. Then all of a sudden, somebody, a white guy, chases after them carrying a chainsaw, and he was chasing them. And then the family drove out of the petrol station in as though they hadn't any time left to live. But yes, you heard that right. A completely innocent family just completely and some maniac with a chainsaw chases after them. That for me, ladies and gentlemen, that just about sums up what's been happening in this country, is that completely innocent people being caught in the crossfire of some mad people who should be sent to prison immediately. Listen, with all the criminal damage and everything that's been done to police officers, to innocent people who've had nothing to do with this, people who are fighting to stop these riots and who will not stand for being intimidated. You see a lot of these far-right fascists talk about not being intimidated. Well, guess what? Neither am I. I'm not going to be intimidated where I live either, no matter what your skin is, but especially more when it's people who incite violence like these far-right nutters do. So, there you are. What do they call this? Turnabout's fair play or something like that? But there you are. But where the hell do you even start with a family being chased with a chainsaw? Where do you even begin with that? Is that acceptable? Is that really what this has come to? I don't really. I'm almost like lost for. I honestly, it's one of those things where I didn't really think what is this all about really. It's not about trying to avenge those 3 girls who were murdered. It didn't seem to be anything about that. It's about, let's just scapegoat minorities. And what exactly are we waiting for right now, ladies and gentlemen? Someone else to be murdered? Is that what we're waiting for to happen? Because it's striking that nobody has been murdered, at least to my knowledge. I know there have been people who have been injured and stuff like that. But what on earth, what is it? Where's this all going to end? When is it going to stop? When is somebody just going to put these people in their places and we can have some peace and we shouldn't have to be worried about going outside? It's difficult to perceive how this case, and it's not exactly as if there have been any other people who've been on a rampage murdering innocent people this year. But it's hard to see how these so-called riots brings peace any nearer. But as I said before, ladies and gentlemen, if it is true that rioters are coming to Newcastle, just for the record, you step 1 foot in Newcastle and I will literally show you the door. And I will keep pointing at it. I'll keep pointing at the door until every last one of you is out. Because we're not going to condone, tolerate any sort of unruly unrest of that description whatsoever. You know what? Call me old-fashioned, but you know what? The buck stops with me, and I'm not going to permit that sort of thing. You know what? Sometimes in life, ladies and gentlemen, you simply have to do what you think is right, and the thing I think for me is the right thing to do is to stand up to each and every one of these protest, these wannabe fascists, because that's what they look like, wannabe fascists. Especially that one guy in Sunderland who had his entire back covered in swastikas, iron crosses, who had red suspenders, who is currently in jail at this very moment. And the list is going to keep growing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to stop just because people thought they were being clever about it. But yeah, that's I think that's just about everything I want to say. And well, I don't think I'll be the last person to state that I don't want to see any of these fascists anywhere near my city either. So what do you got to say about that then? Come on. You're more than keen to pick on a minority. Well, pick on this minority right here. Pick on this minority of one. Pick on me instead. What's the matter? You won't pick on me? You know what? I've had a lot of friends at where I work who've been intimidated by you thugs. So go on, pick on me then. Go on, say something to me. You can't, you won't. So I suggest you just don't even think about coming to Newcastle, and I think you'll be all right. There we go.